You might be destroying your reputation without even realizing it. There are habits that seem harmless, almost invisible, but little by little they erode the respect people have for you. And worse, you might be repeating these patterns every day, without knowing the damage they are causing in your personal and professional life. In today's video, I'm going to show you the 4 toxic habits that are silently sabotaging your image. If you want to be taken seriously, respected, remembered, you need to know and eliminate each one of them. Before we begin, a special thanks. The Argument and Reason channel exists because of you. Every comment, every like, every time you share a video, this has given us the real motivation to continue producing this content with even more depth and intention. Seeing this community grow, reflect, transform, that's what drives us. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for walking with us on this journey of self-knowledge and daily evolution. Gratitude. When respect disappears, it's rarely by chance. It's the result of small actions or omissions that over time accumulate a silent cost. And if there's a philosophy that helps us see these patterns clearly, it's Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote, "Be concerned more with what you do than with what others say." Seneca said that the greatest sign of wisdom is to observe oneself with honesty, and that's what we're going to do here today. Look within, without masks, without excuses. We will identify 4 habits that seem small, but have the power to erode your image, and even worse, your self-confidence. Throughout my life, I made all these mistakes, and it was only when I started applying Stoic principles in my daily life that I began to see real changes. More respect, more balance, and more clarity in relationships. So, if you're ready for this reflection, grab your coffee, get comfortable, because what's coming now might be uncomfortable but also liberating. Habit 1. Gossiping, the silent poison of relationships. The first attitude that destroys respect is perhaps the most common and the most underestimated. Gossiping. Yes, gossip seems harmless, almost a hallway conversation, a social bond, an innocent distraction in the middle of the routine. But here's the raw truth. Whoever talks about others with you talks about you to others. And when you get involved in this game, even without malicious intent, you send a powerful and negative message. I am not trustworthy. I cannot keep secrets. I feed on the downfall of others. I remember a phase of my life during college where gossip seemed to be part of the environment. Conversations revolved around other people's lives. It was almost a collective pastime, analyzing who was with whom, laughing at personal choices, speculating. A colleague, let's call her Carla, was the most reserved. One day, it leaked among the group that she liked a guy from the course. In a short time, this intimate detail spread, became a joke, and Carla completely shut herself off. The way she pulled away, silently, marked everyone who witnessed it. It was then that I realized gossip is never just a loose conversation. It always leaves a scar on someone. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, warned about this. What does not concern you, do not say, do not listen to, do not repeat. Gossip diminishes you, and the people around you perceive it, even in silence. They start to wonder, if this person comments on so-and-so, what might they be saying about me? Being someone worthy of respect begins with a daily choice. Do not pass on what does not uplift. Prefer conversations that elevate, that inspire, that analyze ideas, not people. As an old proverb says, small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, great minds discuss ideas. Choose every day which of these minds you want to be a part of. Habit 2. Being unreliable. The word that loses value. The second habit that erodes others' respect perhaps faster than any other, is unreliability. We live in an age where everyone promises, but few deliver. We promise to be there, we promise to help, we promise to change, but when the time comes, excuses, distractions, silences arise. And here's a hard truth. When your word loses value, you lose value with it. There was a time when I myself thought that being flexible and spontaneous was a virtue. I made plans and cancelled them. I said I'll definitely be there. And on the day, I decided to do something else. Until an episode showed me what this truly meant for those who trusted me. A great friend, Juliana, spent weeks preparing her birthday party. She planned everything with care. Guest list, decoration, special details, and I, of course, said I would be there, that I wouldn't miss it for anything. But on the day of the party, I got caught up in another activity. When I realized the party had already started, I sent a hurried message trying to justify myself. Her response was polite, but cold. And there I felt it. It wasn't just an event I missed. It was a part of our trust. The relationship cooled because she understood, and rightly so, that my words were worth little. The Stoics saw the honor of one's word as one of the pillars of virtue. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more valuable than the commitment of an upright man. His word is his contract." Reliability is not built with pretty promises. It is built with small, consistent actions. Arriving on time, responding to what was agreed upon. In a professional environment, unreliability can be devastating. You might be talented, intelligent, even charismatic, but if you don't keep your word, little by little, you are excluded from more serious opportunities. Because ultimately, respect is born from trust, and trust is born from the repetition of your integrity, even in the details. Habit 3. Interrupting others. When your anxiety speaks louder. Sometimes, losing the respect of others doesn't happen because of big mistakes, but because of small gestures we repeat without realizing. One of the most silent and harmful is interrupting others while they speak. It seems trivial. After all, who hasn't done it? Sometimes we think we're just participating in the conversation, being dynamic, contributing, but interrupting carries a much greater weight than it seems. Because when you interrupt, even unintentionally, you send an unconscious message. What I have to say is more important than what you are saying now. And this message, repeated over time, gradually erodes respect. Early in my career, I was exactly like that. Anxious, full of ideas, wanting to show initiative. During meetings, I barely waited for anyone to finish a sentence. If I disagreed, I interrupted. If I had a suggestion, I interrupted. If I thought I could add something, there I was, cutting off the other person's train of thought, until one day, my manager, calmly but firmly, called me to talk. She said something I'll never forget. "You are always ready to speak, but rarely ready to listen." Those words struck me like a lightning bolt, because she was right. I wasn't really listening. I was just waiting for my turn to speak, and that has a name. Egocentrism disguised as enthusiasm. The Stoics valued listening as a form of wisdom. Epictetus, who began his life as a slave and became one of the greatest philosophers of antiquity, taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen more and speak less." From that episode, I began to practice what I call Stoic listening. When I felt that urge to interrupt, I took a deep breath and asked myself, does this really need to be said now, or can I wait humbly and listen until the end? This simple change in attitude completely transformed the way people began to see me. I became someone more respected, more trustworthy, more balanced, because truly listening is a sign of strength, not passivity. If you want to gain respect, practice intentional silence. Listen carefully. Let the other person finish, because when you learn to listen with presence, you not only understand better, you strengthen bonds and gain something rare today. Consideration.
Habit 4.
Complaining. Excessively. When negativity becomes identity. We all complain about traffic, about the boss, about the weather. Complaining seems like an outlet, an almost therapeutic vent. But when complaining becomes a habit, it ceases to be a relief and becomes a burden. And worse, a burden that you spread. Constant complaining transforms the environment around you. People start to distance themselves without realizing exactly why. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's because being near someone who constantly points out what's wrong without acting drains energy. I've lived through this cycle. There was a time when everything was a reason for complaint. If it rained, I complained. If it was hot, I complained. If someone wronged me, there I was, dwelling on it for days, until a friend, with courage and sincerity, told me, "Man, it seems like nothing is ever good enough for you. Have you noticed that?" At the moment, I became defensive, but those words echoed for days, and they hurt because they were true. I had become accustomed to the role of a victim, and the problem with living as a victim is that you give up your agency. The Stoics teach us something fundamental. Do not complain about reality. Transform what is within your reach. Accept with serenity what is not. This is the essence of Stoicism. The rain won't stop just because you lament. Traffic won't flow faster because you sigh at the wheel. But your attitude, that can change everything. From the moment I started observing myself and replacing complaining with action or acceptance, everything changed. If the environment was bad, I left. If something went wrong, I tried to learn. If there was no solution, I took a deep breath and moved on. This didn't make me a blind optimist. It made me lighter. And the people around me started to notice. Want to know if you're stuck in this cycle? Reflect. Do you talk more about problems or solutions? Do your conversations energize you or drain you? Do you have a habit of being grateful or complaining by habit? The mind works like a radar. It finds what you train it to find. If you feed a negative outlook, the world seems like chaos. If you train a constructive outlook, you find opportunities where before there were only barriers. Respect is also born from the vibration you carry. And no one respects someone who is always bogged down in complaint. Therefore, from today on, every time you feel like complaining, ask, "Is this within my control?" If yes, act. If not, accept. This simple question, if used with discipline, can free your mind and your energy. If you've made it this far, congratulations. This shows that you are willing to do the most difficult work, looking inward. Because earning respect from others begins with something deeper. Today, we talked about 4 habits that silently sabotage your image. Gossiping destroys the trust others have in you. Being unreliable undermines the value of your word. Interrupting demonstrates ego and impatience. Complaining excessively pushes people away and traps you in negativity. The good news is, all these habits can be replaced through stoic discipline, through active listening, through integrity and conscious action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be different from those who cause harm." I would say the best way to gain respect is to be different from the majority. To be someone who inspires trust, peace, presence. And if you take one step at a time, one habit at a time, you will notice a subtle but powerful change in how the world responds to you. Now tell me, which of these 4 habits do you recognize most in yourself? Leave the phrase in the comments below, "I choose to be worthy of respect," and say which habit you are ready to transform. This helps not only to cement the learning, but also strengthens this community of growth that we are building together. If this video helped you in any way, Like, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the Argument and Reason channel. Here, philosophy is not just theory, it's practice, applied to your real life. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, remember, you are solely responsible for the energy you bring to the world. Bring what uplifts, leave the rest behind.